It's the Let's Call for Plastisol, competition barely. Come discuss the field with your host Christy and Jeremy. Have a drink, kick your feet up, watch the ink, and get ready for a motion. Notice hearing what you think. Shout out, Monarch color, Blue Ridge, they're the best. Core Kim hold it down like the automatic press. P&M, they've been sticking with our team. Hey, you know that they are go-to for whenever that we need. Last call, Plastisol, last call. The last call, Plastisol, last call. Last call, Plastisol, last call. The last call, Plastisol.
It's the last call for Plastisol. Competition barely. With Christy and Jeremy.
Ooh, it's gonna be a week. Welcome to Last Call for Plastisol. I'm Christy Schellenberger.
I'm Jeremy Ray.
And we're back, season 2, with our first and probably some of our favorite guests, P&M Apparel.
Probably.
That's us?
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. We're at
I
least
said
in the top-
probably.
top five.
I did qualify that.
How many episodes did you guys do last season?
We did 33.
So we're in the top 33.
How many beers do we need to get you to get to the very top?
Well, I did see vodka in the fridge when we landed at the
you
Airbnb.
did well.
Yes.
Yeah.
So full disclosure, we got a house. We're staying in a house together with P&M.
It's like
One
real,
bed.
real,
One
real
bed.
world road rules.
It's a one-bedroom apartment.
That's all we could afford.
And
We snuggle
we
for
don't
warm.
have sponsors yet for season 2, so we're trying to. We're just doing our best we can for a one-bed apartment.
No, honestly, guys, we are staying. Ryan found this, so kudos to you, Ryan. Ryan found us a place that should be on MTV Cribs.
That's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
it's
real
really
world,
nice.
Which is
Yeah,
what
It's,
real world.
it's pretty much real world screen print version.
Yeah, that's what we're going for. Screen
When
print real
people
world.
stop being fake and start being real. That's the theme
That's
for this
the,
week.
Sometimes I wish we would be a little more fake.
I know a little too much about you.
Well, welcome back, guys. Welcome to
Thank
the
you for
show.
having us.
Welcome to Vegas. Jeremy's first time to Vegas.
Very first time to Vegas.
Yeah, and he hasn't
My
really
first
seen
adult time.
anything.
I haven't seen a thing because we got in last night and went straight to the. I honestly thought it was a condo apartment. Like
Yeah,
the way the
we had a
pictures
whole
made it
place.
look.
And a pool and
It's-
a hot tub. Not that you want a hot tub when it's 110
It's really not.
degrees
It's
outside.
105 degrees
Yeah.
out.
It's too many degrees.
Yeah.
The kitchen is really nice with
Yeah.
that bar down the middle.
Yeah.
And we got to do work this morning, just sitting out on the
We
patio.
have
It
a
was
dedicated poop
glorious.
bathroom.
Yep.
We
Yep.
literally
We
Here's
do.
here's some photos.
We do.
We can
Not
we
of the
can-
poop bathroom.
You're just doing this for the
in
post.
the it'll description down below.
That's where the poop bathroom is.
Oh, sorry. That's where the
the comments.
We'll
the
attach
comment
pictures
section.
for y'all to see.
So we found this house. We're staying there with AP from Denim Rush, and Nate's here, my husband,
then we brought an account manager,
and
Hannah.
Hannah's here too.
Yep.
Can you guys tell me about why you decided to bring Hannah to the show?
That's my bad.
Yeah, so in what was it, April or May, there was this really big client. We had already started doing stuff with them, but it was
It's like they're scraps.
yeah, it was their crumbs. And we got an RFP to do their whole kit and caboodle, which would make them like a 6-digit client for us. And so we're like, okay, Hannah. Ryan specifically, just kind of jokingly, was like, Hannah, if you nail this, if you get this RFP and get this client, I'm taking you to Vegas. And the next day, we got the RFP. The next day. And so she's like,
Challenge accepted.
Challenge
She
accepted.
took
Competition is my thing.
Yes.
And so
And that was last year. That was, I think, one of our top clients.
yeah. And
and
now
so
it
to just
blew
be getting
they blew
scraps.
themselves out of
Yeah.
the water for our top client.
And
Yeah.
she's very sassy
Yes. We love
Yep.
it about
and
her.
fun.
Yes.
Yes.
So
Yeah, I
Excited
heard
to
she has
have
a
her.
good time here.
she's
been-
got us over to a bagel place this morning that she's been bugging you about,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we took
Siegel's
pictures
Bagel.
inside a bagel, which is kind of cool. Way to start Vegas.
That'll be in the link up this way.
Yeah. Yeah. Link
Which
up
way
here.
are we linking?
It's fine. Everywhere.
Just doesn't matter. Just
Um,
we won't
but,
have
But,
links.
This is her
That's the
first.
thing.
Post in the
even know how to
chat
put
if
links
you
we
guys
don't know how
want
to
the
put on
links.
links.
This is
Just making it. I just seen it in a podcast one time.
But this is her first conference, and
Yeah.
so this is her first time being exposed to any of this, getting a chance to,
Where's she
like
at?
go. She's
Did
in
you
a
guys
class. She's in a
lose
class
her
right
already?
No, she's in a class.
Okay,
And
good.
so she's getting all of that learning and
Okay.
everything in there too. It's gonna be great.
But even on
Cool.
the show floor, she was like wandering away from us just to, do her own thing and
Like
like,
a kid in a candy store.
yeah. And so
That's
that
awesome.
was encouraging because you hate to have people come with you and then they're just like, Mom and Dad, what are
Right.
we doing?
Oh, or
You
not
mean
ask
you
the
don't like it
questions.
when your employees sleep on benches at a convention?
Has that happened to you?
It did happen to us.
We one time took a screen printer to a convention. It was like ISS Long Beach, and he just kind of like disappeared for hours at a time. And it was like, oh, it turns out he was just like going to the bars or
Using his per
Red
diem.
Square?
yeah, using
Yeah.
his per diem
You should be good.
on whatever he wanted to, and wasn't actually learning about anything.
Okay, cool.
Thank you.
All right, good. Thank you.
It's all this. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
Little
It's our
off,
Okay.
producer.
little off-camera commentary for you guys.
Yes.
Some BTS, as they say.
So last year on the podcast, we introduced you guys. We talked about you guys being a third generation print shop. You had moved into your building then.
Yep.
Since then, Jeremy and I have traveled up to your facility and
Yes.
for Flyover Con. So you've had us come to visit, which is amazing. And then you've held Flyover Con for Anatol, partnered with them on that. What else has happened this year that we should know about?
Oh man, I feel like for both of us, both our company and your company, it's been like 2 new companies basically in the last year. So, because we've got like what, over $150,000 in new equipment in the last year.
Wow.
Between
Yeah.
screen printing and
Yeah.
embroidery.
We've done a ton of like focusing on getting things more lean, more efficient, building things like a CRM.
trimming
You guys
the
also
processes.
took over ownership in
We
the
took
last
over
year.
right,
ownership.
yeah,
I
that's
think
not-
that's what we touched on the podcast when we
Yeah,
had him on
we-
last
yeah,
year.
but
was
it
we're
was
like
just
a
barely
week or
starting.
two
Yeah,
into
yeah,
ownership
yeah.
when we were on your podcast last.
Okay, so question 1, do you guys still like each other?
Yeah.
They're brother and sister. I guess
I
they
feel
have
like
to.
I feel like we still like hang out with each other during the weekends.
Don't
even.
reciprocate the question back to us, please.
Or like if it's like by 7 o'clock we start texting each other and it's usually work or memes or something like
Yeah.
that. So
Or I can't believe that happened at work today. Or my head.
yeah.
Uh,
Or at
it's-
like 3 a.m. texting about our panic attacks
Yes.
if we need to.
It's-
Yeah.
I would say having a partner that you're as close to as Megan and I are, it's like it makes ownership so much easier because you can bounce off of that person and
Yeah.
be the strength when they might not be as strong, and really just be there for each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's
I've
good.
noticed that about you guys, that you are like a good brother-sister combo,
Our
like-
mom made us that way.
Yeah, but like seriously, like there's some families you don't
Yeah,
see that. Like
for
the,
sure.
the
Oh, yeah.
siblings don't get along. You
Yeah.
guys get along. I've seen you want to hang out with each other. How do you guys feel like when it comes to like Christmas? Like you had Christmas after obviously we talked
Right.
to you last time.
Right.
Do you try to avoid each other on Christmas because you work together every day?
Not really.
Is it
Not
like, you
really.
know what I'm saying? Or is it just like that's the thing?
I feel like
Yeah.
we need to have more of a break from like everybody else.
So
at
just
work.
the actual work.
Yeah.
So you're able
Yeah.
to-
We usually end up talking about work at Christmas.
yeah,
or
that's what I was
wherever,
thinking.
Too.
Yeah.
Usually we have Christmas at Mom's house, and she's like, "Oh, what's going on?"
Right.
with work?
Yeah.
Right.
You,
What's
you
going on
guys
in
have that
work
layer too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we got to meet her.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, at
Yeah.
FlyOverCon. I was like,
Got
"When
to
did you
have
meet
a-
my mom?"
She is living her best retirement life.
She
let me
loves
tell
it.
you.
Love
Pickleball
that.
She
for
in
her.
pickleballs
paradise.
every single day.
Yeah.
Maybe not every single day, but enough days.
Enough days
to say every single day and it not be totally hyperbolic.
She's lost so much weight. She's tan and like fit and like,
Yeah, she's
That's
about to be
awesome.
like an Olympic athlete at this point.
yeah.
That's crazy.
She's like, turns out slinging shirts is just what's holding me down this whole time.
Okay, so in the last year, you guys moved from your old
Come
screen
on, just
printing
walk right in
press
front of the camera. That's fine.
to a new Anatol.
Yeah, so we're running two auto Anatols.
But we were one manual and one
Yes.
Anatol last time we
Okay,
met.
so how do you like it?
Love it.
Okay.
I mean,
What do you think is different about the new one?
I mean, I'm not on the press every day, but I know our press operators, like, they prefer to be on the newer version.
Okay.
Sure.
Because it's got like newer software and stuff like that.
And the indexing's a little bit different.
Yeah.
It has lasers that actually work as opposed to like our jerry-rigged ones
Right.
on the old one. But we've noticed that we're just spitting out jobs a lot quicker.
Yeah.
Okay.
part of that, I think, is the auto, yes, but I think it's that trimming of the processes as well, and really getting our team trained to where they're confident in what they're doing, and know that, you know, the quality of the product that they're putting out is what we expect.
And they work well together, too.
Yes.
There's a lot of respect and camaraderie with that team.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very true.
Okay, so tell me about your upgrades in embroidery.
Upgrades in embroidery, we got 2 new Baradins. The year before that had gotten a ZSK, but I think we've talked about that. It's like just 2 single heads, and those 2 Baradins were outplaying like 3 or 4 of our machines. So it was super fast. Our embroidery team kind of, it's a reward to be like, who gets to work on the Baradins?
Yeah.
Well, if you show up to work on time and work hard, you can
I don't
work
even
on the
think they're
Baradins.
using the Melcos or the Amayas
Right,
anymore.
right.
They're
Yeah.
only running ZSKs and Baradins.
Yeah, I have noticed in our embroidery, because I brought over my embroidery machines too, there's not, every day all the machines aren't running because people have their favorites and they have,
Definitely.
Yeah.
people prefer certain ones. So that's been interesting for me to see, like, is it good to have all these different single heads if you're not using all of them every day because some are superior to the other ones, you know?
I think it depends on the kind of jobs you're running. We run a lot of like corporate online stores or pop-up online stores where it's like we might only need to do 5 pieces, or we might need some of the decoration to go on hats and some to go on quarter zips or whatever. We're not typically running like 1,000-piece jobs that would make sense to have like a 10-head Tajima or something like that. So for us, the like individual being able to hoop one, load it, and then like start trimming and hoop the next one, and just keep the pattern going is what.
And
really
most of those
works.
corporate stores that she's talking about, we get those orders Monday and have them out the door Friday.
Exactly.
Nice.
And it's either embroidery or DTF.
Yeah.
And it's just quick turn, and
So you're not doing any screen printing on your corporate stores?
generally no.
Okay.
Not unless it's a big enough order that it hits minimums. Otherwise, we just go straight to DTF because
Okay.
it's still a really clean
So
decoration.
who are you using for your online stores as far as that's concerned?
We're
We would
using
love to
Chipley.
tell you.
We're using Chipley, and we love Chipley, and we love the people at Chipley.
We're not
We're not
sponsored.
even paid by Chipley.
Yeah, we're not sponsored or paid by Chipley.
You
We
guys are
just
the
love
Chipley
them
All-Stars.
that much. And like the last conference we were at, Chipley was there, and they were like, "Are you talking about us again?" Like, at some point you're going to need to put us on the payroll.
Yeah, they really should sponsor you guys.
Are they here?
No, they're not here.
Oh man, because we would have got total free beers from them. They buy some beers.
Grace,
Yep.
you need
Grace
to be here.
is a partier.
Yes. So we just switched to Chipley.
How do you like it?
year.
Yeah.
So
It's a Jill thing. So that's a Jill question. But do you
Yeah.
deal with it a lot? Or
Because
do you
Jill
do-
does most of
you
your.
do. You do with it, yeah.
It was
Who does
cha-
like your setting up of your stores?
We do sales.
The sales team
Yes.
does. Okay.
Okay.
Yes. So we changed stores, and I think like the platforms are completely different than what we were using before. Also, the old one we had Graphics trained on how to set them up.
Yeah.
We changed stores and did not train Graphics how to do it, so it was back on the sales
Oh,
team
okay.
to set up the stores again.
Makes sense.
But then, and it's working fine like that. Our new receptionist, we're having her set up the stores now, but it's very different than the process. we
It's just
had
learning
before.
a new.
It's a new
tool.
process.
It's a new
Yeah.
process, and then like the packing,
Adapting to the new
packing
process.
slips look different. So like one store went out, they didn't know where to look for customization, so they sent things out the door without customization.
Oh,
And
no.
it's like, so all these little things that are like different in changing the platform. It impacts.
Right.
Yeah.
It rolls down
For
the
sure.
whole pipeline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how, like, when you guys change the stores or something like that, how do you like work through all of that before you just say like, we're changing platforms?
Hey, that's me.
Yeah.
That's a lot of my job is
Okay.
the processes, the platforms, and making sure that it's the right fit for us and what we want to do. With Chipley, we were kind of in a bind. NDA, and then we had to switch and pivot.
Okay.
From that, we were developing our own system, switched to Printavo merch stores just as a quick
Yeah,
fix.
we've used them before. I use them. It's
It
not
worked. It was fine, but it didn't have all the like robust features that we need in our stores. And
Yeah,
so
we have a lot of clients that need like hyper customization for their. Yeah.
Okay.
And so I just did some research and found Chipley and got on a call with them. Same with Order My Gear. Same with, I looked at Shopify. I looked at all these different things, and Chipley seemed to align most with our values as a company, but then also like their commitment to like having the best product.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, switching over. Did you do their onboarding or anything?
We did, and each person has done an
Okay.
onboarding with
Okay.
them.
So that was our first step, was to get me onboarded because we needed to have online store capability, and that's my job is online stores. So I got trained, and I was the first one fluent in it, and kind of getting it rolling and getting people, this is what it looks like, and kind of holding hands through that process.
Okay.
But then, our sales staff started to get in on it, and Hannah has rolled with it and can build stores, and
Yeah.
the rest of the team is fluent in Chipley, but not like, hey, I need to add a custom product. How do I do that?
Yeah.
Whereas, I'm putting up 3 to 5 stores every day and taking down 3 to 5 stores. And
What would you say your your percentage of like income for
It's certainly
the
on the
store
rise.
based?
Stores.
The store based. Yeah.
it's certainly on the rise.
Yeah, I would say if it's not at 50%, it's
50?
it's
Wow.
gonna
Oh
be-
wow.
Yeah.
At any given time, we have 30 to 50 stores running. Maybe 10 to 15 of those are what
That's-
we call catalog stores that are year-round running.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
Okay.
amazing.
That's a lot of stores. We definitely are not in the position to run that many stores yet. We have people asking for stores, and we're turning them down because we don't have our systems down
Just send it
yet.
to us. It'll be fine. We'll take that
But-
business.
So I'm interested. This is a really good question to ask, like how we get there, how we get to closing multiple stores on one day and people.
I think it's just getting in the system and using it.
Okay,
Because you guys are using Printavo too, right?
we do. Yes.
And so what we do is we build out the Printavo quote like we would with any other job, send it to the client to get approval, and then once they get approved, then we go into the live store and I build all of that out. I take down the store, and then I look at the work order and I manually enter it in.
Is it only a one-person operation then for you to do all that?
Yes,
okay.
sir.
Yeah.
That may
Then
be.
what if you're on vacation?
Yeah.
So we have cross-trained as well. So usually Hannah is the one back at the shop doing. Also, I don't go on vacation. What kind of question is that?
Well, no, but
No,
now is a good
when I was
example.
Yeah.
in Nashville, Hannah
or
took
when
over.
you were in Las Vegas,
What? Yeah.
because you did that yesterday.
Yeah. I just take them down when I'm on the road.
Okay.
Yesterday I
Yeah.
sat at the airport and took
Because
down.
Hannah's obviously here too.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
I took down 5 stores yesterday sitting at the airport. I took down 3 this morning sitting out by the pool. So
Because it's all digital, so
Yeah.
you don't
So,
have any like paper.
so
you're
one of the
missing.
tricks you're saying is to have it dedicated to one person only doing that specific thing.
that has worked for us.
Okay.
And I know there's a lot of similarities between our shops.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that the way we're doing it is right or correct. It works for
Yeah.
us.
Yeah, I'm interested how we could kind of modify that for our shop, because right now, like, we're short in sales. So I have our receptionist taking the Printavo quote, building the store with Chipley, but then once sales is done, then if they haven't met minimums or whatever, we get the additional order and do like a parallel quote to the store quote. But then purchasing and receiving will get it and like order everything in, but then it goes to
art department and then
art department, and then it goes to the girl that sorts the stores after production is done. But then Jill goes back and then calculates fundraising from
Yeah.
there.
Yep.
So like, there's a lot of hands in
There,
this
there
pot.
definitely are.
Yeah.
So like when I say I do online stores, the online portion is what I
yeah.
do.
So you're
Production does
opening,
production.
closing.
Yep.
Are you fulfilling? Like, are you doing?
I'm not doing
ordering?
the compiling.
No.
I'm not doing ordering. We
Okay.
have our production manager is doing ordering,
And she takes care of the compiling.
and she takes care of compiling.
Okay. So one person doing several things too.
And like
Yeah.
our finance manager then comes in, and she has created all these like Excel calculators, and some of them are even hyper specific to each client. because some clients will be like, I want to pay for shipping, or I want to make sure to pay for the tax or something
and
like
that's
that.
what we're running into is like each store has those different things that customers are requesting, and it's like, how do we make sure all the information and all the nuances of each one is getting to the appropriate person? And we haven't quite figured that out yet.
It's just a lot of communication, over-communicating. I mean, we have a weekly meeting with just our management team where we go over, like, are there any stress points in any of these processes?
Okay.
What kind of rushes do we have coming up? What kind of stores are coming down?
Put on the wrong pipe.
But you're a
We're going
mess.
to pause for station identification. You're listening to the
KQRD.
Apparelist Zone podcast booth
Good thing
at
this isn't live.
with P&M Apparel at the where are we
gosh.
at? We're in the Las Vegas,
Las Vegas
at the
Printing United
Printing
Expo.
United Expo.
I'm like at the tail end of this illness, and it's just like the cough won't
Big
go away.
props to all who made it possible for us to be here today. Are you done?
Are you done?
Jeez.
Don't even remember what we're
All right.
talking about now.
Here, let me get a
Stores, open communication.
cough drop in, and then
AP, are you with me? Okay.
and I'll be less problematic.
Yeah.
Yes, we're watching back.
Okay, so over communication stores. So you would suggest like a weekly meeting.
And that's just with our management team.
Okay.
And so it's me and Megan, our sales director, production manager screen printing, production manager of embroidery and heat seal, finance manager, and just
I'm done, I swear.
just make sure every department is running smoothly and there's no surprises.
Okay.
How many total employees do you guys have?
16,
15.
15?
15, okay.
15.
So you are dividing up jobs like specifically to certain categories like we are.
Yeah.
I think it's
Like you
it's-
divide it by
it is
salesperson?
kinda-
Or what do you mean?
No.
we're kind of similar. So it's
By
just-
decoration type?
It seems very similar to like you
Yeah.
pass off production, you pass off fulfillment, you pass off
Yeah.
the
It's more of just
calculation.
who's handling the opening and closing and all of that.
And a lot of that goes down to our staff are awesome. And like we have a really, really good staff.
And doing a lot of cross training.
Yep. Yeah.
So that multiple people can cover bases. Like I'm not there, so somebody else can take care
Yeah.
of getting films to production and stuff like that.
And I think that's like we've grown really quickly this year. I can't remember how many employees you guys had last year when we spoke, but we've had a lot of employees this year, and we've let some people go. Some people have chosen to leave. We've brought on some new faces, and then we've changed things in the middle of all of that. So like the training and like making sure people are like up to where they need to be at a certain point has been a struggle for us at some times this year.
It seems like you kind of want to put a solution in place and have it solve a problem,
Yeah.
and it creates another problem.
Yeah.
So it's sometimes that can be frustrating, and it's I think it's as a smaller, I would say we're medium-sized shop. I wouldn't say we're a massive shop.
No.
I think that's
That's
how
what
we're
we kinda
similar
classify
together,
it.
right? Is that you end up you do this thing, and then hey, this is going to be a perfect problem solver. It's pitched that way at the expo that we were just at.
Right.
It's a problem-solving thing, and then it's not, because there still has to be systems in place to run it smoothly. You guys have been doing it a lot longer than we have as far as the Chipley side of things are concerned. So we're just getting started in that,
Yeah.
and we're kind of working through that.
Yeah.
And
I will say one of the best things about Chipley is their customer service.
Oh my gosh, it is amazing.
I mean, you
I will
email
say
them,
that.
you
Yeah.
have an email back within 10 minutes. You
Yeah.
call them, and it's a person on the end of the line.
yep.
And
And they want to train you. Like they
Yes.
want to talk to you. They want you to call them. Megan is
I'm
dying.
So sorry.
Can we just
I
all turn her
haven't
microphone
coughed
off? It'll be
this
fine.
much
We're gonna
the
have,
whole time.
Turn your microphone off until you're ready to not cough.
This is this portion of the podcast
good.
is brought to you by
Mucinex.
Aquafina.
Chipley also has their own user summit. So Amanda, our finance manager, and I went to that, and it's hosted at their store. So Chipley started as a screen printing company
Okay.
and then built this, as opposed to
Awesome.
some software companies
Okay.
are software companies trying to understand the industry. They've been in business for 100 years doing this.
Yeah.
And then they're like, there's got to be a better way for us to be doing this. And so,
Yeah.
So-
I think that leads to a lot of their understanding of what is needed.
So I think there's like thousands and thousands of people out there listening to this podcast right now that
probably
want to
millions.
comment about their experience in using an online store and how we probably want to hear from you. So leave a comment
What do you think,
below
chat?
as to the thousands and thousands of listeners. Christy, we've never done this.
Was it
No,
thousands
we've
or
never
millions?
asked.
We need to ask you guys to help us. We're not perfect.
No.
we want to
No.
we want to learn and grow.
Actually-
we're working through this right here on a live podcast.
When we were coming here, I was, on the airplane. I'm like, what do we want to talk to everybody about? Because we're
Yeah.
podcasting several times in the next 2 days, and you guys in particular, the thing that we're struggling with as our shop is change management, because things are just growing so
Yeah.
quickly.
Yep.
And so since you guys are similar to us, but you're changing, but we may have things worked out that you guys don't, and you guys may have things worked out that we don't. I'm just really curious in how you manage change, the impact, like analyze the impact through all departments, or do you?
So for the last, since we moved into our new building, it was something like 20% growth, 20% growth, 20%
Yeah.
growth. With that comes all those changes that you're talking about. And at one point we're like, this is unsustainable. Like
Yeah.
mentally we can't do this. We can't keep changing. And so
That's how I feel right
Yeah.
now.
we had to put a kibosh on some
I'm
changes.
burnt out on change.
Yeah, we had to put, just this year we said, you know what, this is a great idea. We really like this idea. We're tabling it until next year.
Okay.
Just because
Yeah.
you can't keep changing everything,
Yeah.
because then you forget how you're already doing it and why it works the way you're doing it.
At some point, you just have to buckle down and do the work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As it
And
is.
so it's we have a lot of ambitious people in our
Yeah,
in our,
we do too.
um,
Like, we want our shop to be the best shop possible, and I think that's why we change so much.
Exactly. And,
Yeah.
and we also need to make sure that money's coming in, though, using the processes that we already have in place.
Yeah.
And making sure that those are dialed in as well as they can be before saying, let's take on this big change
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
can affect.
It has to be justified.
Like you said, you change one thing, well, then there's these 4 other problems
is,
coming
yeah.
in that you couldn't think about.
Yeah.
But also,
it's-
like, full disclosure, because I feel like I listen to these podcasts, not just yours, but like in general, industry podcasts, and it always sounds like, oh, these people have got it figured out, and I don't, and like
We don't have this
we
figured
don't
out.
have it all
Yeah.
figured. Like, I would say I've been more stressed out this year, more anxious this year than I have been any other year of my life, and it trickles into the personal life and all of
Yeah.
that stuff too, and so like. It's really like depending on your team, not just, I depend a lot on Ryan, but I also like trust my management team that they like want good for our business.
Yeah.
And so at the end of the day, even if there's conflict or something, I know that they want good for our business. And they also know that I'm a human. And so it's like if I'm freaking out or struggling to figure out how to solve this problem or whatever, then they're like, okay, let's come in with solutions. Let's try to help her out, and help, because they care about us too. And that's
Yeah.
like really important and probably one of the more valuable things I've taken away from the whole year.
Yeah. Sure.
I think, Jeremy, you were very good about that the other day. We had an employee that doesn't like change either,
Yeah.
and kind of stirred the pot. And you were like, at the end of the day, this person needs to understand, like, things are changing. We're trying.
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
Which it's
And it's like, well, why don't we just say that to the person? And I did. I'm like, we're trying. Like, is it perfect? No.
no. Yeah.
But-
Exactly.
My goal is to make it as perfect as
Yeah.
Right.
possible, eventually.
And I feel like, I guess that's the where you have to, ahead of time, when you're trying something new, you have to go, hey guys, this is what do we call it?
Pilot program.
A pilot program.
Yeah, that's good.
This is a pilot program. That means that we're going to try it and we're going to see how it works for a couple weeks, and then we're going to decide whether it's working, and we're going to make changes, and we might stay with it and just do a couple things different, or we might just
That's smart.
completely ditch it and go a different route. But we know that it has to change to get better. And so like we're gonna try different things. And did you have your microphone turned back on?
Nope.
I had turned it.
Okay. Well, the pilot program is a good example of that right now. Is we're on this week, we're starting our pilot program to work 410s in our production. So we want to see if that benefits the employees that we have, the morale, if it affects anything in our production, like our output, and then also like is it saving costs in utilities? Like, but you got to do a sample size of that.
Yeah.
You can't just
do it 1 week and
1 week.
Yeah.
So
We don't know how that
we're just going to go
impacts
for it,
everything.
and we're going to see how it works, and we're going to make the necessary changes that we need to make it better and make it work. But we're down to 6 employees, I think, total out into the production side.
yeah.
In the production side, and they're killing it right now. But we're sending people home on Fridays because they're killing it right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Like, so we're like, all right, what can we do in 4 days versus 5 days? Go ahead and kill it, you guys. Get it out.
Still
Pump
getting
it
your hours.
out, right?
Yeah.
And then we'll come in on Friday and we'll still be there, but not at full capacity. And we'll get ready for another 4 days next week. Like
Yeah. Sales and purchasing and receiving will be there. So.
Yeah.
How does
Art
sales
will stay
and
there.
how did the 5-dayers take it?
So
Yeah.
for sales, we only work 10 to noon on Fridays anyway.
10 to noon?
Yeah.
So why have it
So
come
2
in?
hours.
It's just like 2 hours.
Because
Well, they
people
catch
can
up.
do pickups, and then we catch up on quotes throughout the
Okay.
week.
we're only open. We work longer than that, but
Yeah.
we're only open those hours. Yeah.
Got
If
it.
people want to get to 40 hours, they're allowed to stay past noon on Friday.
You're allergic to podcasting.
But we just don't have enough customers consistently in the afternoons on Fridays to justify everybody
Until we change
staying.
the hours, and then they all show up.
That's what this past week somebody was complaining about it, and I'm like, well, for 6 months nobody showed up on
Nobody
Friday
shows up on
afternoon, and
Fridays.
I'm not staying here Friday afternoon.
I feel
I
like
want to
that's-
be on my back deck drinking a glass of wine.
I feel like
I
that's
feel
our
like-
busiest time though. It's like
Is it
afternoons
really?
from like 2 to 4. Is
Nah.
like
Yeah,
people
man.
get off work or like they just picked up their kids and now
Yeah.
it's time to.
Lunch is
Lunch,
by
you're
far.
done. Yeah.
Huh.
We will have 5 people helping customers in the showroom during lunchtime.
Yeah.
All right.
But after lunch, it seems like, especially on a Friday, after lunch, nothing happens in Rock Hill.
No.
It doesn't seem like. Everybody just goes home.
See,
So-
Ryan and I are currently running a pilot program where we work like 5/12s and, and sometimes
How's that working out for you?
Sometimes a
What's
few
the sample
hours
size
in the
of
middle it.
Yeah.
It's just us two.
What's the sample size on that?
So,
when
like-
did we take over?
Yeah. I want to know because and I don't know if this is because like my mother ingrained in us like you have to be here at 8 and then you have to leave at 5 and like you have to set the example for your staff that you're like working. But my staff is not seeing all of the other hours
Right,
that we're working.
exactly.
They're
Yeah,
not
at
seeing me there
home.
at 6 o'clock in the morning and working at home and all of that stuff. But I still struggle with like breaking away like the guilt. It's like, oh, it's a
Yeah.
Friday and I am set. I should just take off. Like I have a lot of guilt of doing that.
So, can you tell her it's fine to go?
He does.
I do.
Okay.
Oh, I force her
Yeah.
out
Jeremy
sometimes.
will tell me like,
Just leave. Like, that's a conversation we have
Yeah.
a lot. I'm like, it's gonna be fine. Just leave. Like,
you're very good about that.
yeah, just
But
leave.
it's
But
like-
what
Doesn't
she's
matter.
talking about is the perception of the staff.
Yeah, I don't
It's
want
like-
the staff to.
It's self guilt.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Like
I
it's not
understand that.
necessarily the staff have been like, oh, Megan gets to leave early because
They're still getting paid to be there.
Well,
Right.
okay, so it's your culture too.
Yeah.
Like the employees, the employees need to understand why you're leaving.
Yeah.
Like, and why it's good for you to leave, right? Like, and that we care about each other, right? Like we preach relationships. We
That's
preach
one of our
teamwork.
core values.
We preach like that whole mentality is like we need to take care of each other. This is why we're doing this. So those guys aren't sitting back going, "Oh, Mr. Owner is leaving," and maybe, I hope they're not.
Right.
But
Never heard
no, but like they're not. They're actually like, no, we have a responsibility to run this shop and not let him down,
Yeah.
not let her
Right.
down. Well, and I can't say that's the same for everybody, but like,
Yeah,
It's-
I think
it's-
that's pretty
yeah.
blanket statement
Yeah.
about everybody. I know when you're not there, people just do their job.
Yeah, for the most
You
part.
know? Yeah, like there are hiccups.
Sometimes
Sounds like we just need a therapist, and we could
Probably.
sometimes they don't, and then we have to make rash decisions. I know the last two
Instead of a massage therapist, just regular.
Los Angeles shows,
Oh yeah.
we've had to make some changes, but that happens.
Yeah.
But I think it's good for other people, employees, to see it and go, no, listen, we want to have a good team that doesn't do this stuff. Stop doing that stuff.
Yeah, I think I'm just concerned that they will think like, oh, the boss never works or whatever. And not that I've heard anybody say that. It's just in my head. And
I've
so
met
like,
your
I gotta
staff.
keep,
They're not saying that.
I know.
But
So-
even if you weren't coming to work, which I can't imagine you doing,
Right.
like if you weren't coming or staying there as much as everybody else is, and they said that if you guys were still crushing your goals, everybody was still getting raises, everybody's still getting everything they need
Right.
as an employee of your business, does it really matter?
True.
I don't think it does.
True.
Now, if you guys were failing to give your employees what they needed, or if they needed a day off to take their kids somewhere or whatever, then that would be a different situation.
Yeah.
I think
But
it's
you're
such
not that person.
It's like such a millennial thing to be like, I want to be the boss that I wanted to have when I
Yeah.
started out in my 20s or something like that. And so I think I hold that so
Yes.
much that like almost a pendulum swing of like, but you're working yourself to death.
Yeah, it's that, and then it's also that you grew up in a small business household,
True.
because I have it too.
Right.
But
I think deep down we know, until something like tragic happens, like what happened in our case with that shop that we inherited, like you gotta know deep down that you're the business owner and the business doesn't own you. And so like you have to have a work-life balance,
Yeah.
right? Like, and you gotta tell yourself it's okay. You gotta tell each other it's okay to
yeah,
wipe your hands clean for the day. And like, I don't like to hear when they come in and say they've worked all weekend. Like,
Yeah,
Christy
yes.
works all weekend. I know Jill works all weekend. I'm at home with her, right?
Right.
They're doing quotes
Yeah.
and doing books and doing all kinds of
Yeah.
stuff. And I'm like, stop. Because, you just got to stop.
Right.
You
gotta have some boundaries there.
you got to have some boundaries. You got, like, marriages are important. Children are important.
Right.
Like.
But I think that that's like the number one thing that I really like about being in a partnership is you have those people on your side that
Exactly.
you trust their opinion, one, because they've got the same stake in the game as you. It's not like an employee telling you like, hey, go home, it'll be fine, because they're not the ones paying the bills at the end of the day. Like
Yeah.
Jeremy is
Yeah,
with me,
I'm
like,
taking
so
on that tax liability.
if Jeremy tells me it's cool, Christy,
Yeah.
calm down.
Yeah.
Yes.
He really
I don't,
means it.
I try
right?
not
You know?
to tell her to calm down.
We talk about this.
Learn not to do that.
We talk about this all the time. That like, I don't know how mom did this for years and years and years by herself.
Like as a
Crazy.
single mom too.
As a
Yeah.
single mom.
Like I've got a
which-
partner at work and a partner at home to manage both
Yeah, it's
aspects.
really impressive.
And she didn't have it on either side.
Yes.
Yeah.
Kudos, Kay.
Kudos, Kay. Kudos, Kay. What questions do you guys have for us?
What's the hardest thing in the last year that you've had to, like the hardest problem you've had to solve?
Oh,
Next question.
No.
What do you have?
no, you
it's
answer. You
the
answer
hardest
first.
problem we've had to solve. Well, I think it's learning how to be partners.
Yep.
Just
Honestly.
like any relationship, though.
It's we have to. We jumped in. And what is it? Chris Staples said we jumped in the water to see what floats, right?
Yeah.
And
it wasn't
some
all
of us have sank a couple times and
Yeah.
needed to be rescued. So
Yeah.
it's
sure.
it's not as easy as you would think it is. I think that we talked about it a little bit this morning. I'm not sure if this is actually true, but we're the first public people who've said that they've merged a shop.
I think you're
Oh
the
my
first
God.
screen printing shops that.
the first
The
screen
first
printing shop
company that's ever merged with another company
We're
in
the-
the
We're the
history
first-
of
we're the
First ones
first
that are
of
going to
history
claim it.
of
We're going to claim
business.
that we were the first ones.
Patent
the
pending.
history of business as we know it.
There have been
No,
no
but
mergers
no,
or
seriously,
acquisitions.
I've not
That's a
heard
good-
of
that's a
any
good
other
title.
shop, screen printing shop. I would say screen printing shop that's merged
Yeah.
and talked about it.
There's another podcast, and they were talking about exit strategies. It was a very good one, and it was like one exit strategy is to merge with another shop and like
Yeah.
form a different entity,
Sure.
which is what we did.
Yeah.
But then
How do you exit, though?
but-
if
Well,
you
that's-
but the
what's
exit
interesting.
of the one entity into something new,
Oh, okay.
not exit as a different.
But what's
exit.
interesting is when you come together as a partnership, the first thing that you have to talk about is how you're going to get out of the partnership.
Right.
Yeah.
If it
Yeah.
fails, yeah.
Right?
So
You
and
safeguard
Ours is death.
that podcast, they said a lot of times that doesn't pan out because people just go into it, one to save another, one to this, and they don't talk about like the qualities the person has. Whereas like Jeremy, Jill, and I all do different things very well, and that is one point of like if you're gonna merge, find someone that complements
Right.
what
Yes.
you need.
Right.
Yes.
Totally.
I am horrible at managing production. Horrible. Because I like things done a certain way and I can't let go. Jeremy's really great at that.
Ryan's horrible at managing
What
production
minute mark are
because
we
of
at
his
the
ADHD.
podcast? I want to keep that marker and just
Horrible.
be able to put that on my phone for
Horrible.
my
Yes.
ringtone for Christy.
Yes.
It's
Number
yeah,
two.
it's you know what? Like I can't say I'm an expert. I just it's what I like doing more than anything else. You know, like I would say that I'm not very good at sales. You don't want me talking to your customers, like because I
That's a
just
really
often
stupid idea.
say
Why
really
would, why would you
stupid
put that on a
stuff.
shirt?
Yeah.
Like I try not to say stupid stuff on this. I still do, but
Yeah.
like I'll say stupid stuff to customers just because like I'm like I'll get in an argument with them over something, like it's not whatever.
That's why they keep you
but,
chained in
but,
the back.
but that's
Yeah.
not the way to
Don't
attack
let them come
approach
in.
a customer, and so like that's her thing, right?
Yeah.
Jill's thing is books and and she likes to do embroidery. She likes to do a lot of things.
Actually, the number one thing that Jill does is her ability to like stay level
yeah,
no matter what's happening.
yeah,
Because me
She
and
doesn't-
Jeremy are more like
We have a
yeah.
Jill.
We're all
Who's
over
our
the
Jill?
place.
We have Amanda for the financials and me for the level-headedness.
Oh, you're the
You're
level-headedness.
I stuff rolls off me. Like
That's true.
Yeah.
stress levels, I get stressed, yeah, but at the end of the day, I'm also
Okay.
able to just like
yeah.
Let it go.
like a octopus. I just
Yeah. So I would say the partnership is the hardest thing that we've done this year,
but it's
learning
probably
how
the
to
most important.
Right.
do it. And then I think like when we merged, you know people as friends and everything like that, but you don't really talk about like what's your comfort with risk, what's your comfort with this, what's your
Yeah.
comfort with that, and
Yeah.
then like all of
That's
those
good.
things that like we didn't even think about talking about, and it's taken a whole year to like
Yeah.
really know, okay, this is where their opinion this is where Jeremy's opinion comes from, this is where Jill's opinion comes from, this
Yeah.
is where mine is, because we just feel differently about different things.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and then you have to come to commonality,
Right.
right? At some point, you got to go. All right, what are the things that are important that we're trying to accomplish,
Right.
and let's go that direction and pursue that direction and see how it goes. And if we have to make changes, we have to make changes. So like it could be anything from like, hey, do we want to get away from screen printing at some point, to hey, we want to go all in on screen printing and get away from the other stuff. Or
Right,
it could
right.
it could be
Yeah.
small decisions like that. It could be like,
Doesn't feel like a
are we
small
going to
decision.
sell, or are we staying in it?
Right.
Are we?
Or like, what
what's
if
important?
one of you wants to sell and the other?
Yeah, and that's why you do those things ahead of
Right.
time.
Right.
Because you have to sort that stuff out. And then, obviously, I mean, man, it seemed like it took forever to get that partnership in place through the lawyers and the different
It did.
life insurance policies and everything else. We're 6 months in, and we still kind of got, like, did we make the right decision? What are we doing? Like, you just start to second guess all that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
As you're learning, but we're like, no, come on, we can't expect to have perfect success 6 months in.
Yeah.
We can't. honestly, I can't say we can expect. It's like starting a brand new company,
Totally.
Yeah.
right? It's you're starting again. Even though you got 8-9 years experience, you're still starting over as a partnership.
Yeah, and Jill said that to me one day. She goes, I think I know why all three of us get so stressed. It's because we've been in this 9 years, but it's not 9 years anymore. We're year one now.
We're year
Right.
one again. Yeah.
And we're going through year one problems,
Yeah.
but we expect to be year 9,
Right.
you know, and we're not there
Right.
anymore. We gave that up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but you
none
still
of
have
us
that.
ever, like,
You still have that experience to draw from to be like, oh right, like we can manage it this way. Yes,
Yeah.
you have more brains to bounce it through.
Yeah.
But again, it's that open communication that we were talking about, and it's like, especially, I mean, we are very much, if something is wrong, we need to talk about it.
yeah.
I don't know if that's the same in your guys' partnership or anything. but
Yeah,
it's
we
like,
pretty much just shut the door in a room and
just go at just.
Yeah.
But dang, I really resonate with that. Like, you are really a year one company, because that's technically, it's like we've been in business for
You're year
37.
one.
37
too.
years, but we're technically year one, and it feels like some of the problems of like cash flow management, or
Yeah.
you know, just like trying to figure out staffing and stuff like that. Those all feel like year one problems,
This is no longer your grandparents' company
or my mom's
or your
company.
mom's
Right.
company. It's your guys' company, and
Yeah,
you're
like the
running
buck
it
stops
as
here.
you
Yeah.
guys. Yeah. Right.
And
Like,
so you guys are kind of in that too. And
Yeah.
I feel like there's another level. At the end of the day, like, I have a vested interest in Ryan's future, and he has a vested
Yeah.
interest in mine. You know, I want to make sure my nephew is taken care of just as much as I want to make sure my kids are.
Sure.
Yeah.
You guys, it's kind of like, well, I gotta prioritize my family. I want your family taken care of, but like at the end of the day, there's not that same crossover.
Yeah, I would say like it's important to that we're friends, right? And
Right.
but she has her family, I have my family, but
Right.
we're like, but she cares enough to invite me to Nate's birthday, where she's not that
Not
good of
me,
friends
though.
with you guys, so she doesn't invite you
Are
guys.
those
to Nate's.
invites coming? Or was that?
So I feel more privileged,
Yeah, you should.
sitting on this side of the table as opposed to
should.
that side of the table.
That's okay. You can't come to
You can't come to my
I just-
husband's birthday either.
But like
No, we go to concerts together.
We go to concerts. You came to Christmas.
I came to Christmas. Yeah,
Like,
that was a fun Christmas. We played, we rolled dice.
Yeah,
and
left, right, center. Have you guys
gambled.
played
I've
that?
played that. That's fun.
Yeah. Left,
and
right,
golfed.
center.
We gambled and golfed
We
Christmas
did.
Eve.
And we had a gingerbread house.
And gingerbread at
contest.
house contest. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's so fun.
Adorable.
I love that. I think
Yeah.
that's what builds part of the culture and helps bond
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
business better.
Seeing that relationship is reflected
Right.
to the employees below.
Yeah.
yeah, so
That's great.
it's ups and downs. We fired each other about 4 or 5 times since then.
Oh, I fire
Solid.
her like once a day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
It happens. It's a relationship. So
Yeah.
What's been so you asked about the hardest part? What's been like the part where you're like, oh, yes,
We crushed
your
it.
greatest accomplishment?
Oh wow, there's a lot of those.
you answer this one.
Me, greatest accomplishment. Well,
You're okay. Come on. Pause.
We're on
Yes.
pause.
KQRD.
A bag underneath this thing, desperately. I'm like, I desperately
Which
need.
one?
I thought she was just mad at you.
Nope, the white one that's got leopard over there, or cream or whatever. I really need it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, we're on a podcast right now, so if you could not.
We're on pause.
Right.
I'll find you
so
in a little
right. And go.
greatest
Unpause.
greatest success you said this
Yeah.
year?
Or like something you just crushed that you were like, I nailed
Well, this year was the first time that my father has ever said he's proud of what we built.
bit.
That's
Aw, that's precious.
That's deep.
Yeah.
That's
He
really,
walked into
yeah.
our new shop and
Wow.
yeah,
That's big.
Yeah. I remember that.
yeah,
Yeah.
big
That was a
day.
moment. Yeah. Very
So,
cool.
What about you, Jeremy?
I think it's just that like we can have these events. Like we had an event, like you guys had your event at your place. We had an event where we were like, we just want to bring the community in, and to know that like we had people flew in for it. Like and you almost kind of go, man, we've reached a status to where like people want to be a part of that shop, like experience, and like just like they see our success. Like we reached a milestone of 1 year as a partnership. It's fine.
Pause.
Thank you.
Sorry,
it's the only safe place in here.
That's cool.
My stuff.
So we reached a milestone where it was our 1 year anniversary. Jill just sent us a text this morning that had like a card from like congratulating us. So like those small little things that like it's recognized, like the hardship and the effort that we put into this is being recognized. And people want to invest in us and help. And want to like be a part of what we're doing and congratulate us and encourage us. And so I think I think the relationship side of things, I guess, is what I see is beneficial.
Yeah.
You know,
I can get
like
that.
I like it,
Especially like on two parts, like being in your community, having your community support you, but then also like this community, the industry community, and like the relationships that we've made.
And you know, you start something and you don't know where it's going to go, like, you know. And
I
you just
knew it was
we
gonna
talked
end
about
right
it
here.
this morning, like, hey, how did I get here?
Right.
Like, how did I get here? Well, we know how we got here, but like, that wasn't the plan.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So it's cool.
Although I did have deja vu in the Airbnb today, so I'm pretty sure this was destined to be. We were all
Ooh,
destined
what
to
was
be
your
here.
deja vu?
Which is in that Airbnb, like the wall with the trash cans and stuff. I've seen it before.
You've seen it before, okay.
Yeah.
You put
Which
it.
It was there yesterday, so of course you've seen
You
it before.
spoke it into truth.
Yeah. I don't even know.
I think I'm excited to see like the afties for Airbnb, like after a day of this, and then just coming back and just being like, and then kind of venting, and I'm interested to see how that all pans out.
Yeah.
Learning what you learned.
Well,
I'm
thank you
excited that
guys.
Elvis is walking up to us right now. I'm excited.
Can we get Elvis on the podcast?
Should be.
Mr. Presley?
I'm excited to see Screen Print Elvis walking around.
So thank you guys for being on the podcast 1 year later. I'm glad you guys are still crushing it. I'm glad we get to be Airbnb roommates.
I'm glad that we get to participate with you in your Women in Screen Printing Award.
We haven't even talked about
right.
that.
That's a thing.
Women in Print.
Is that today?
Yeah,
That's today.
Today.
Yeah.
We know what time it is, so we're not going to miss it
We're
this
not going to
year.
miss it.
Not like Christy when she missed her own Women in Print award.
I'm
Yeah.
excited for you in that and to be able to celebrate that with you.
What an
Yeah,
honor.
it's
It's
hang
really
out.
exciting.
Yeah.
gonna
I'm
be
really
great.
proud of you. You've worked really hard for that.
Thank you.
And it's good to see people recognize that for you.
I'm excited for your speech, where she just burns the patriarchy and just.
Yeah.
Just taking everybody down.
No one is going to be surprised.
I'm surprised how many names you fit into that speech of just these men in the industry.
Just calling
You're just like
everybody
bam,
out.
bam, bam.
So here's a list of all of
It was weird that you started with Jeremy though. It's like,
Jeremy
Who
Red.
didn't think I would do it? No.
So
get
we'll have the
blacklisted.
speech linked below.
linked. It'll be over here. It'll be linked
It'll
over
be-
here.
on my face.
It'll be there.
Yeah. Thanks, chat.
But thank you guys.
Yeah, thanks
Yeah,
for
thank
being
you.
on the show, you guys. And for everybody out there, till next time, cheers.
Cheers.
Let's go for Plastisol.
Let's go for Plastisol.
Christy and Jeremy.